Welcome back to the Megan Waldrop podcast. I'm your host, Megan. If you've been here before, I'm so happy we get to hang out again. If you're new here, welcome. Pull up a seat at the table, and we're going to dive in and talk about what do you do when someone's being rude to you or just someone says a rude comment. It can be really hurtful. And I know that from experience because I'm alive and I'm a human being, but also because I'm someone who, for a long time, internalized lots of other people's emotions all the time, and it would get to a point where it would ruin my freaking day if someone said something rude to me. And now things have shifted because I've learned how to deal with it. And I'm going to give you an example. So one time I went to the farmers market in Wilmington, North Carolina. Beautiful Saturday, and I was waiting in line to get sourdough bread. It was this amazing sourdough bread here in town. It sells out all the time. So I got there early and I was waiting in line. And then there were two women talking in front of me in line. It seemed like they were in line. I didn't know, but it was the point where there were people in front of them that were paying for the bread and leaving, but the line wasn't moving. They weren't moving. There was still like a huge gap there, and there were a ton of people behind me, and people were trying to get past us. And, it was just a hot mess. So I just leaned over and I said, "Hey, are y'all in line?" She goes, "Of course we're in line." She whips around and just goes, "Of course we're in line. What do you think we're doing here?" And I was like, whoa. I think I even said, whoa. I said, and I don't even know what I said after that, but I was trying to neutralize the situation. And then I'm thinking, like, what the F just happened? Did I just say something? All I said was, I didn't mean to offend you. I was just wondering if y'all were in line. I hope you have a great rest of your day or something. And I just stood there, like, stared at the ground, going, holy crap. Like, it felt like someone slapped me in the face. And this guy behind me goes, "Well, that escalated quickly." And I looked at him like, right? Okay, thank God you're there to validate me, because I was thinking, wait, did I say something wrong? Like, what's going on here? Uh, okay. And then it was so funny when it was their turn, they weren't even in line to begin with. They just like both walked away in different directions. And I was like, wow, okay, what the F just happened? This person just exploded on me. But in that moment, it's like I almost prepared myself for that moment. I had done like this energy trick that I had learned from Brenda Winkle, who she's an energy healer. I've had her on the my previous podcast before, and she talked about the zip up method, that you zip up. It's like you're zippering up yourself. You do it 3 times before you go into a situation that you feel you don't know what to expect. So out of the blue, random, I decided to try that in my car before I go to the farmer's market. And then that interaction happened, which was fascinating to me. And I was like, wow, I'm so glad I was kind of prepared for this in a way, but nobody's prepared for that, because it just made me realize, like, wow, this woman must really be hurting inside. Because that's really what it is. People are walking around with more internal noise than we know, or that they would let on, like stress, pressure, unprocessed emotions, things they haven't said, or things that they don't even fully understand themselves. And sometimes that leaks out sideways, and it's not because of us. It's because it has nowhere else to go. And it's like this emotional explosion. And so when you happen to be in front of someone in that moment, you can become the landing place for that. But that doesn't mean that we have to absorb it. So we could think of it like this: like, if someone's rude, or even driving down the road and you get flicked off, you're like, what? Seriously? But think of it like this: if someone's carrying a cup that's already filled to the brim, it doesn't take much for it to spill. Like a small bump and it's just going to go everywhere. But that spill doesn't mean that you caused the water to spill. You just happen to be nearby when it tipped. So what do you actually do with this in real life? Because it's not about being passive or accepting bad behavior, because we have self-respect and we don't want to put up with that crap. And I feel that in my life, I have put up with that crap before, because I've been a people pleaser. I've been someone who didn't want to deal with confrontation. I've dealt with somebody who had empathy for someone going, oh, well, hurt people, and that's their journey. And then I never stuck up for myself. And I thought, well, I can change all of those things and still have love for another person. I don't have to put up with whatever is going on with them. That's their stuff. That's not my stuff. And I don't need to carry that or try to dissect it or feel like I need to carry it with me, because that's what happens when you internalize it. You start to ask, is this actually mine to carry? That's the best thing. Like whenever you start to feel yourself internalizing it, being like, is this even mine or is this someone else's? And just that question creates space and gives you an option to be like, I'm tapping out here. I don't have to absorb this tone. I don't have to rewrite my worth in this moment because our worth is priceless. And you can let it move around you instead of into you and settling into you. And sometimes that looks like responding calmly. And sometimes it looks like setting a boundary, but it definitely is not taking the bait. Because once you've taken the bait, then you're off to the races. And then like your emotions that are unprocessed are coming out. It's someone else's, and it's like a friggin' battle, and it's no good. So it's like, okay, how do I deal with this? So I was looking this up actually. This is on, let's see, from Dr. Chris Mozunik. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but this was a, oh, actually, this is the Calm app that was reviewed by this doctor. So it was like, all right, what do you do? 10 ways to respond to a rude person. First, pause before you respond. So this is going to be that place where, okay, am I going to react as my self that knows better, or am I going to take the bait here? So they say to, before speaking, silently count to three. And you don't have the responsibility to fill in that space, but you do have the responsibility to respond according to your values, according to you. Number two, keep your tone even and your words neutral. You'd be like, here's some ideas of what you can say. I hear that you're frustrated, or that's not how I see it, but I respect your opinion. Or let's revisit this later when things feel less heated. These feel more of like whenever you're talking to somebody that you're closer to and not just a stranger in line at the bread store or whatever. But yes, all of this is helpful in any kind of way. So this is another one. Number three, name the behavior, not the person. So this says you need to address the rudeness directly, focus on the behavior. If you need to address the rudeness directly, focus on the behavior. So this can be effective in the workplace as well. You can say, that comment came across as dismissive. Not, you're always so rude, even though that's how we want to say it. You're always so rude. You can't ever say always or every time or whatever, those black and white statements. I learned that in therapy. But yeah, I'd be like, you know what? That comment came across dismissive when you really feel like you're always effing rude. What is going on? I'm kidding. So number four, use I statements to stay grounded. This one's so helpful in any kind of confrontational situation or whenever you want to speak up for yourself, which was something I had to learn over the past couple years, and it has served me well. You try saying, I felt uncomfortable when that was said, or I need a moment to collect my thoughts, or I don't want to be spoken to like that. And the thing is that when you say, I don't want to be spoken to like that, you don't have to say, you can't talk to me that way, because we can't control other people's responses. But we can set a boundary and say, I don't want to be spoken to like that. And if someone keeps speaking to you like that, then you can remove yourself from the situation and be like, I told you, like you don't even have to say I told you, but you can, that is what you did. I set a boundary. I don't want to be spoken to like that. And so I'm going to remove myself and not deal with this right now or ever, because I don't need to. My worth is worth more than this situation right now. And this is another way. Number five, redirect or diffuse with compassion when it feels safe. Yes, when it feels safe is the operative word here. If you don't feel safe, call the freaking cops. If it's something where you feel like your life is threatened, yes, you call for backup. But I'm just talking about in general humanness right now. So sometimes kindness can be the most powerful response. And you can say things like, are you having a rough day? Or is everything okay with you? Or do you want to take a break and come back to this when we've cooled off? Another one, and we've talked about this before, is set a clear boundary and stick with it. When you set boundaries with people, you can choose when and how to step away from interactions that feel harmful or depleting. So you can say, I'm going to step away from this right now and revisit this later. Or this conversation isn't respectful and I'm not continuing it. Or I'm not available for this kind of interaction. I love this one. That was so good. So number 7, this one can be hard because our egos are set to want to prove points and things. Some of us. Okay, I'll talk about myself. Number 7, don't try to win. Trying to outwit or one up someone who is being rude often drags you down to their level. That's for show. And it says it's okay to let them win for the moment if that means you get to keep your energy and sanity intact. And then you just ask yourself even further, like, is it worth it? Is this worth me wasting my time and energy on this and getting myself all worked up and having to reset my fight or flight mode into chill mode? Number 8, remove yourself from the situation. This is it. You don't have to justify yourself if you want to walk away. You could just freaking leave. And sometimes the best response is saying no or having no response at all. But if you want a response, you can say, I need to leave this conversation, or this situation isn't healthy for me right now, or this conversation isn't making me feel good, so I'm stepping back. And then number 9, you can debrief with someone you trust. So having a safe space to talk about all this afterwards is going to help you regulate your nervous system in the sense of like, feel validated, get it out where you're not carrying it inside of your head and your heart. You can just talk to somebody else and ask, can I share an interaction with you that shook me more than I expected? Or can I get your advice on this? Or what would you do in this situation? And of course, number 10, I love that they included this, breathe it out. You know, preach this all the time. Breathing it out. So simple. All you have to do is you can inhale for 4 counts and exhale for 6 counts. Always keep the exhale longer than the inhale. In through the nose, always. Mm. You can repeat this 3 to 5 times. This is how we can deal with rude people. This is how not deal. This is how we can help ourselves whenever someone is around us is just being outwardly rude to us because they're doing their thing. But like, oh wow, no, we don't have to put up with that. And I really appreciate the inspiration behind this because I posted a reel on Instagram yesterday and it got a lot of great interaction. And yeah, it's like we just need daily reminders that when someone's rude to you, it is a reflection of their inner chaos and it has nothing to do with your worth. That's the bottom line. It is a reflection of their inner chaos and it has nothing to do with your worth. Yes, you're doing great. You're doing better than you think. I'm so happy you were here today. I hope this was helpful. If it was, or if you have any stories that you want to share, if you'd like to connect, I'd love to connect with you. You can email me at support@meganwaldrop.com, or you can hit me up on Instagram at megan.waldrop. Thanks so much for being here. And until next week, I'll see you then.